Hi guys, welcome to this Total Space livestream. We're watching the first flight of the Ingenuity Mars helicopter today. I'm another space nut. I'm joined by my good friend Astro Rodi. Would you like to say hi?
Hi everybody, welcome to the stream.
So we're excited. We've got the first powered flight on Mars today.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this for quite some time. I'm very excited about it.
Is one of the Ingenuity helicopter engineers,
Fantastic.
Taryn Bailey, who will help guide us through the steps the helicopter team is taking to see the results of their first flight and begin the month of Ingenuity. Welcome,
So thanks for
Taryn.
joining us today, viewers. We are answering questions. We are very underprepared for this.
Flight night. You had an integral part
But
with
feel
the
free to
helicopter
fire some
team.
questions
Can you tell us
away,
about your
and
role?
we will do our best to answer them.
I'm a mechanical engineer, and I helped in the assembly
Absolutely.
and testing of the
Absolutely.
vehicle. And it was really important that we simulate a Mars-like atmosphere in our testing. And in doing so, we knew it would give us the best chance to execute a real flight on Mars.
And that's not an easy feat. Flying on Mars is much different than flying on Earth.
Very difficult. It's less than 1% of Earth's atmosphere, making it very difficult
So
to fly and
interestingly,
generate
they
enough
couldn't
lift.
actually perform a full test of
Taryn,
its
what is the
flight here on
Ingenuity team
Earth because
preparing
it's
for right
specifically
now? What are they
designed
waiting
for a
to
Martian
see?
atmosphere.
We're waiting to see data confirming that we executed our
Yeah.
first flight. The actual flight on Mars took place
Although they have
earlier
conducted
today,
some
and that's
testing,
because
they
Mars is over
didn't
178
conduct
million
the
miles
full
away,
test
so
that they
there's
would
a little
usually
bit of a
do.
delay. The data is expected to hit the Deep Space Network.
Yeah,
at
that
about
that totally makes
3:34
sense because the
Pacific
propellers
time,
would
and
be
we'll start processing the data shortly after to see how we did.
oversized, and the atmosphere of Earth
Thanks so
would be
much,
too
Taryn. We'll be
dense
coming back to you
for
shortly
the
as we get
motor
closer
to
the
drive
start of the
giant
data
propellers
download.
through
What started out as a dream
Earth
is now
atmosphere.
becoming reality for the
It would
Ingenuity helicopter
it would
team.
be able to start
Let's
up,
take a
but it
look at their
probably would
journey.
barely even lift off the ground.
Sometimes you
Yeah.
have to do something just to show that you can do it. When the Wright brothers flew for the first time, they flew an experimental aircraft.
So interestingly, they're showing the Wright brothers plane there. There is a piece of the Wright brothers plane on the Ingenuity.
Helicopter flight in the Martian.
Yeah, some of the wing fabric, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, when I found that out, I was like, go NASA Easter egg.
I mean, we're getting quite used to NASA Mars Easter eggs now, aren't we? The Perseverance had hexadecimal in its parachute.
Yeah. That was very creative of JPL to do that.
Yeah.
So the first and foremost challenge is to make a vehicle that's light enough to be lifted. And then the second is to generate lift. The rotor system has just been very...
So am I the only one that's shocked about the
We're spinning between
commercial services
revolutions per minute.
human landing system announcement the other day?
It's that balance of the very
I
light
mean,
I didn't see that really coming.
energy
I knew
And I'm
SpaceX were
I'm
gonna,
happy about it, but
fast to lift, and on top of it,
like I knew SpaceX were going to get something, but to just completely undercut to a point where NASA select them as the only partner was, I think, a shock to most people.
And so we determine from
Yeah.
there where we want
Yeah.
the helicopter to go.
Not shocked, but excited, Justine. But here's the question: if you were in charge of the Human Landing Systems program at NASA, would you really have a lot of faith in a system that so far has proven to the public that it can't land safely,
Basically go up
and spend as much money as they have done for a projected timeline of just 3 years from now?
Major milestone.
Most of our flights will be at the 3 to 5 meter height. We will be going horizontally.
the interesting thing is
50, 70 meters and come back.
that
Such
SpaceX
flights
appears to
also
have done more
will be much
testing
faster. So our
of
priority will be to get
their
that
system
intelligence
than the other two competitors had
but I'm sure
done.
we'll return a few.
Also
Yeah.
true.
Will always look cool.
They had mock-ups and things, but one of the companies had very immature engines, and that became a disqualifier. And the other one miscalculated some weights. And both of those things are resolvable, especially in the amount of time they have.
Doing exactly the right thing.
But like NASA just kind of went, well, this one's the furthest along and has the highest chance of being ready to go when we are. So let's go with it.
Yeah.
And it fits the current budget.
It's going to be exciting.
It was interesting, and I'm specifically not calling them out by name, by the way, if the viewers are curious about that. One of the bids made a statement about wanting or not but progress payments along the way, which was an automatic disqualifier for them, because the instructions on the bid sheet were that was not allowed.
Yeah.
And so they automatically disqualified themselves by saying we are gonna need progress payments.
This has been
Yeah.
quite the journey for you and your team.
Like,
I mean, it's the rocket industry of old, isn't it?
Yeah.
To do cost plus building, where they say, okay, we'll quote you this, and then we'll just take a lot more money over a lot longer period than we initially quoted. And I think that's where the private sector's starting to pick it up with the likes of SpaceX and Rocket Lab.
For you guys, you've had some technical challenges. What made you decide to go ahead with the
and like
April 9th was a surprise.
there's quite a few of the videos that have been released on the subject have talked about like how this means that there's no competition in it because only one was selected. But NASA was pretty specific about saying, you know, they're open to future ones if they can, you know, cross their T's and dot their I's, and if they get a better budget in the future, they would be happy to bring a second one along. The quote was, "We would have preferred to pick two finalists." So hopefully the other two competitors continue to work on it and refine things to a point where NASA can justify sending them some money. So the competition is still there. It's just not funded, which I think is probably about the only move that NASA could make, is to just pick one.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the quote that I saw was that the SpaceX were the only one that could come under budget by a long margin.
Yeah.
In fact, we'll be spending over 25.
Yeah, and they picked a real, I forget what the number was, but it was a really specific number, like $557. You know, almost 10 billion, but not quite.
Just enough to make it viable.
Yeah, like I wonder what the logic behind that specific number is, because like it's so specific, it almost seems like that number itself is some sort of Easter egg.
Yeah. Which we know Elon's got a numbers fetish.
and NASA loves Easter eggs. So between the two.
Yeah. I think it's interesting when we see Elon Musk with the numbers fetish that he's got, knowing that other smart people throughout history, that you know we can sort of almost confidently say that Elon Musk is a modern day Nikola Tesla, who also had a numbers fetish, was also fairly antisocial but outspoken at parties and the like, and it's interesting to see these similar traits. Shabalski's saying they calculated it precisely is the reason why it was such a precise number.
Oh, I can't spell this morning.
To fly a controlled power flight in the thin atmosphere of Mars. We've done that. The second objective is to perform.
So I think the other thing that Astro Rodi wanted me to show you guys is the Arnie tweet. If you guys haven't seen the Arnold Schwarzenegger tweet yet, it is utter gold.
Valuable information data back since we've dropped on the surface, and tonight's data from the first
Let me just
flight
quickly
will
scroll
be
about. There we
extremely
go.
important.
Hello, my friends at NASA. You know, when I heard about this helicopter ride that you're gonna do on Mars, it was like I was so excited about that immediately I wanted to just scream out and say, "Get your ass to Mars!" But then I realized you're already on Mars. I mean, what the hell am I talking about?
I was going to look
So I
up
said
and
to
see how
myself, this
far
is really
Perseverance
fantastic.
is
We're all
parked away from
celebrating for the
Ingenuity
first
right
time to have a
now.
helicopter take off on Mars, and then
And
I
I
cannot
don't
wait for all the
see
footage
an
and all
answer.
what this looks like and so on. So I think the only thing that I can say, since we're dealing with a helicopter, is, what do you think? Yes. Get to the chopper!
I love this clip.
Hello, my friends
I
at
just love
NASA.
And a bright future is ahead, Mimi. The risk is huge, but the reward is high. We will
Get
all
to the
be rooting
chopper.
for your team. Good
Makes
luck.
me want to watch Commando right now.
As we get closer to the data arrival, let's talk to Tim Canham, Ingenuity Operations Lead. Thanks for joining us, Tim.
Thanks, Marina. Glad to be here.
Now, how does the data even get here from the helicopter to the team?
Yeah, Arnold's a good guy. He's funny.
So the helicopter does not have a radio
He's
that can talk
definitely
directly to us, so we need
embraced
the help of
what
the
he was
rover.
given.
As a matter of fact,
Off
Yeah,
the back
yeah,
of his acting
and
career.
instrument on board.
Yeah, and like that. I mean, that's how we should all live, you know. Like,
Helicopter base station has a radio
you know,
that talks to the helicopter.
I think we all are very familiar with what to do with lemons after this last year and a half. But
And then the rover
you know, sometimes life is just not kind, and you know, you learn to make the best of it. And so it's great to see good examples of that, of how, you know, life can give you one card too few for the poker hand, and you can still achieve so much.
It sounds like it has to be well choreographed, Tim.
That is a good question. Did they get the data back yet? Because I know that beforehand they were having a bit of an issue with data acquisition.
Is that what they needed to do the update for? Was
No,
to fix data feed?
He's taken a flight already.
From getting the data from the rover to decoding
And
Oh.
they're waiting for that data back.
And as we got to Mars,
Oh, right, because of the
we were able to start our
delay.
survey for
Yes.
Wright Field, and we found it fortunately right near where we landed. And so
Hopefully they made sure that they didn't patch up the downlink when they sent over the update that the Ingenuity had.
Pictures. We planned our flight. The flight will be about 40 seconds
Get the
long.
video tomorrow.
We'll lift off. We'll pivot
I think
towards
we
the
might get
rover,
some low-res
and then we'll land.
images
It's
today.
gonna be a very basic flight, just
But
we
you're
wanna
right,
do the
Justina.
very,
Usually
basic
the
things first to make sure that we can
better
do our
quality
flight.
video would be released over
And
the
then
coming
at that
days.
point, we will get all our data back and look at it. But we had to practice all those things.
I just
And
want to
then
see
time on
the
surface to get familiar with the vehicle, how it operates, and work around those various
the
troubles.
Perseverance and Ingenuity take pictures of each
Ready to
other.
go.
Yeah.
And Tim, what specifically will the helicopter team be looking for as we go through this morning?
So one of the
Oh,
great things about this helicopter is
hopefully
that it's very
Perseverance will be able to pick up
tiny, but it's powerful, and we
a
get
good
lots
view
and
to
lots of
see how
data.
much dust
The processor itself is
Ingenuity
about
kicks
100
up when
times more powerful
when
than
it fires up the
even on
blades.
rover.
It'll
And so
be
we get
interesting.
all this data, as I mentioned,
Yeah.
gets sent to the rover, and then the rover sends it to us. So as our downlink lead, Michael Starr,
The
sees that
data,
arrive in the
KSP,
data center, he will decode
K
it and look for it.
SpaceX.
He will look for the successful
There is
arrival of the data.
there should be a downlink
At that
already.
point, we turn the data over to Hobart Group, our
We
chief
should get
pilot,
either
and he
some
will
low
look at
resolution
the portion of the
footage,
data that
low
relates to how the
resolution
flight went. There are a
images,
series of events that the
and then
helicopter
usually
does
the
as it
higher
transitions
quality one
through
comes
each
over the
stage
next
of the
day or
flight.
so.
And when Hobart is able to verify that the progression went as planned, then he'll turn to the actual data and look at
Yeah, it does take some time to process that data. It's not like a webcam feed. It's not even in really a normal video format for most scientific cameras. capture the data in a very different way, and it has to be processed before you can actually see anything. So it does take them some time. So I think they just do a real quick, fast render to give people like us a quick snapshot, and then they put it through the big computers to give it a good render and give us those high quality images.
Yeah. There is the JPL Media Library.
Well, Tim, we can't wait to see those photos for sure. Thank you so much, and good luck to you.
Where you can find all the latest images from any NASA projects, not necessarily just the Ingenuity helicopter. There's a link there for you guys.
Welcome, Thomas.
That is across the board NASA JPL's image library. You can usually find them there pretty soonish after NASA have them. Should we kill our audio down and listen into this for a little while, Joey?
Yeah.
It's really exciting personally, and for the community overall, it opens up new doors.
And Thomas, why is it important to have that aerial dimension to space exploration?
Imagine, for example, going into areas of, and exploring them, use a rover for. There's some of these crater walls that are so exciting. Scientists have been writing papers about it. It's also important to have the aerial dimension in the context of human exploration of Mars, of which we're dreaming even now. And that aerial dimension being kind of able to scout ahead is just absolutely critical.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Z.
Hey, thanks.
Let's check back in now with Taryn Bailey to see how things are shaping up with the team's next steps. Hey, Taryn.
Hey, Marina. We're moments away from receiving that all-important data, and the anticipation is definitely building in the room. Everyone's very focused, just waiting on pins and needles, eagerly waiting for that data to arrive, and we're just preparing ourselves for what comes down. And this was such a big challenge for us to embark upon as a team, and we are such a small and close-knit team. So it's really great to be back in the room with all of my colleagues and my teammates. We're all here in support of one another. We have Bob Ballerim watching, and he's been the vision behind this from the very beginning. So we have such great leadership on this team, and very excited to be here.
And we're going to be hearing from a lot of people, Taryn. So can you let us know who we're going to be hearing from as we progress through the morning?
Yes, so we'll first hear from our downlink lead, Michael Starch, and he's going to be the person that first lays eyes on the data. And when he receives it, he'll unpack it, he'll run through a data receival procedure, make his call-outs, and then he'll hand it over to our guidance, navigation, and control lead, also our chief pilot, Havard Grip. He'll interpret that data and display an altimeter plot to indicate if we flew. Some other voices we'll hear on VOCA will be our Deputy Ops Lead, Teddy Zenitos, who will report on the battery status, and our Systems Engineer, Jaco Karas, who will report on the motor health.
And we're going to be taking a couple of your social media questions right now as we wait for Michael to make that announcement that the data is coming in. So, Taryn, a man named Flo on Instagram asks, why did we send a helicopter to Mars in the first place?
Great question. Why not? Just kidding. Sending an aerial vehicle at this stage especially, we have sent 5 rovers to Mars, and now we have an aerial dimension, which Dr. Zurbuchen pointed out that it's really important because it elevates the next stage of space exploration. And we can do more science with it. It can be a coordinated effort for future missions. It also opens the doorway for human exploration, and the helicopter can go into areas where the rover can't. So there are a lot of caves, and the rover has to overcome a lot of obstacles on the ground that the helicopter can ideally move around, and that's why it's such a great option for putting an aerial vehicle on another planet.
And as Tim mentioned, it has to be well choreographed, this flight. And so Elio on Instagram asks, why is the first flight only vertical?
So every flight we're going to build upon it, but this first flight, our mission success criteria is really to demonstrate that we can fly. And so that's why this first flight is really all about being able to demonstrate that we can fly on another planet. And so that means we'll do a 3-meter hover above the Martian surface, touch back down to signal success, and then we can advance from there.
And getting back to what everyone's going to be looking at, you had mentioned that Hovard is going to be looking at a plot. What exactly is that going to look like? Is it easy to see if the flight actually took place?
Yes, so his altimeter plot will indicate a peak, and we'll start off with a flat line indicating that we were grounded. Then we'll spin up and it'll have a steep incline to show that we've risen. And then at the top we'll have a dwell where we're hovering, and then another steep decline in the graph to show that we've touched down. So it should be pretty cut and dry to see that we have successfully flew.
And this morning, of course, as you mentioned, the helicopter flew a few hours ago, and we're waiting to see if it did happen. But you did a whole lot of testing here on Earth before you sent Ingenuity up there. Tell me what it was like to test the helicopter and simulate that Mars environment.
Absolutely. So it went, just because the helicopter is the first of its kind, the testing also is very similar in that way. We had to simulate a Mars-like atmosphere by using very large thermal vacuum chambers to allow us to control the temperature and pressure so we can simulate a Mars-like atmospheric density. Then we also created a gravity offload system that compensates for the difference in gravity between Earth and Mars. In addition to that, we validated a lot of our requirements with engineering models. So these are developmental models that we made, and they went through extensive environmental and aerodynamic testing. And so they were the precursors to our flight vehicle, which is, of course, currently on Mars.
And as Mimi mentioned before, it had to be super light and super fast. Why is that?
Flying on Mars is very difficult. You guys have heard it before. It's less than 1% of Earth's atmosphere, and that means that we have to have something really lightweight for us to overcome that mass to generate enough lift. And, you know, kudos and thank you very much to our friends over at AeroVironment who designed and built this custom rotor system that is super lightweight. Each blade is less than 2 ounces made of composite material for that very reason. And it spans the distance. The wingspan of this helicopter is 4 feet tip to tip. So that's 1.2 meters. That's super large for something that's essentially carrying the size of a tissue box, just to give you a frame of reference. And in addition to that, generating enough lift involves having high RPM. So we're flying at on an average of 2,500 RPM. 2,500 RPM. I just want everyone to sit with that for a minute, because here on Earth, helicopters go 400 to 500 RPM. So that is so much faster, Taryn. It's incredibly fast, incredibly fast. Every detail on this vehicle is made and designed for it to be the most efficient.
You're beginning to see data products. We will continue to watch data products as the full set comes in.
All right, Taryn. Well, we just heard from Michael that they are taking a look at the data just starting to flow into the Deep Space Network antenna on Earth. What happens now that the rover has started sending that data?
Yes, so for those of you at home, the Deep Space Network is our giant communications network.
This is downlink. Early indications, data products look nominal.
Excellent. We'll continue to wait for the full data set to arrive. In the meantime, I'll explain a little bit about the Deep Space Network, and that it's our main communications tool to talk to our Ingenuity helicopter from across our solar system. So our downlink lead just announced that data products had just started to arrive and that they look nominal, which is a good indication. While we wait for the full data set to arrive, we'll wait. I guess that's what we'll do. We'll wait in the meantime.
And And we'll answer another social media question along those lines. Jose on YouTube asks, how long does it take for the video signal from the helicopter to reach Earth?
And we're
Can you
back.
repeat the question?
Yes. How long does it take for the video signal from the helicopter to reach Earth?
So they're saying
Yeah,
they're
so
just
that goes
waiting
into
for the
having that
downlink
very
from
long
Mars
distance between
now.
Earth and us.
We can take a
So
look at
Tim
that.
touched on this a little earlier, and that's why we have
And
this delay. So the
see,
helicopter
if
flew
it's coming in
earlier,
just yet.
and similarly, whenever we send data, it's the same process where
Like
there's
so.
going to be a delay of when we run the data and then when it hits Earth. So it's about
exactly where the data's coming in.
4 hours
coming in.
from when something is executed to when we receive it. For larger files, though, sometimes that can take longer. So it all depends. But today we'll be receiving images, still images of the helicopter.
As prepared as I should have
and
been,
I know
probably.
we are eagerly anticipating those images. And we talked a little bit about this before, Taryn. We have been just floored by all the great images coming in from Perseverance, but Ingenuity has cameras as well.
Absolutely. The helicopter is equipped with 2 cameras. One is our onboard navigation camera, and that's the image that we'll receive tonight. And that's going to be a black and white image that's pointed straight down at the Martian surface, and will hopefully be showing us hovering above it. Our second camera is our return to Earth camera, and that's our higher resolution camera that is a color photo and shows more of the Martian horizon snapshot, the beauty shot, if you will. And then and that image will be utilized for future flight missions.
And we have another great social media question
Oh,
here
this
from
is so
Kate
exciting.
on Facebook
We
asking,
certainly
what is
can
the biggest
side by side that
question
feed
this
if you just
first
bear with
flight
me a
will
couple of
answer
seconds.
about aerodynamics on Mars?
Well, the biggest question that we had to answer when embarking on this was, can we lift? Can we generate enough lift and fly in a Martian atmosphere? And I think this first flight will indicate that for sure, and will answer that question. And whatever we receive back will definitely give us more information
we'll put that
moving
video
forward,
data on screen
regardless
shortly
of
for
this
you
first
guys.
flight,
Remember,
or
we are asking
potential other outcomes.
for viewer questions today. If you've got any questions, we are happy to try our best to answer those.
Waki on Twitter asks, happy flight day. Why are the
Absolutely.
blades shaped the way they are?
That's a really great question. So in order to generate enough lift, each blade, I mentioned that these were custom designed, and what we call them are airfoils. And they're developed in a way so that it generates enough lift for us to fly and have enough thrust underneath of our helicopter vehicle. So they have that funky shape because of the aerodynamic elements that help it generate enough lift.
And once again, reminding everybody that you guys are controlling this from over 100 million miles away here on Earth. I always try to wrap my head around that.
Absolutely. It is so far away, and it's miraculous to even think that...
I'd like to thank everybody who has subscribed to us recently.
Kind of standing by.
You know, it's been real fun to watch that number tick up quite a bit lately.
Yeah.
So thank you everyone who has done that, and also thank you for everyone who has clicked the like button on this particular video. That helps the YouTubes know what people think of our content and share it with others.
How's that? Is that what you were envisioning? Which
It
will
hasn't.
take a couple of seconds to come through to YouTube. I apologize.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. That's a great question, Justini. it's going to teach us quite a bit about flying on Mars, how to control the vehicle, and sorry, my coffee brain.
This is downlink. Data production beam. We will begin processing shortly.
Downlink confirmed.
Brain just went dead. I'm sorry, everybody.
As it stands, Justine, the Ingenuity is a pathfinding vehicle.
Data from Mars 2020.
They are using it to pathfind for future craft on Mars. It looks like they're processing the data out now.
Yeah. So it'll teach us things about controlling the vehicle, how much the wind speed and air density on Mars actually affects the flight process. Things like that. Like, there's a lot of things. The environment is so different on Mars that there's just a lot we don't really know, you know.
As Ryan, the Space Update, points out in the YouTube chat, it will scout for key points of interest, or make sure there's a clear path for the Perseverance rover. See, everybody sat around in that room waiting.
Confirming we received Mars 2020 telemetry.
Just like all of us.
Confirming that we received Mars 2020 events. Confirming that we received helicopter data products. Confirming that we have data products. Confirming that we unpacked image and 1 Hertz data.
It's awfully exciting. We're supposed to be hosting a stream and we're both just sat in anticipation.
I know, right? Well, it probably doesn't help that it's, almost 5 a.m. where I'm at.
Yeah. Dedication, guys. If you're going to join Patreon, it's right now for coffee funds for Joey. So we can keep his caffeine levels at an appropriate level to continue with this stream.
Absolutely. Yeah, maybe we should take a second and talk about some of the Patreon perks that we have. For one, you get to join our Discord server and talk with us and hang out with us, and get all sorts of behind the scenes things. We've got some fun things going on in our Discord. We have an ongoing story in one of our chat channels where we just kind of take turns telling a story, and anyone can pitch in on the story and type out a little paragraph and then wait for someone else to take their turn, and that's been really fun so far.
The never-ending story.
Yeah. And then we've got a lot of other people in our Discord that like to share some of the projects they're working on as well. So we see a lot of things that haven't made it out across the rest of the internet yet, which is very fun. And we have our collaborators and things, that other creators and things we work with that pop in from time to time and chat with us. You get to join us in Discord when we live record and prepare our episodes, so you can kind of get an idea of what an episode is going to be about before it actually gets edited and thrown up on the internet. A lot of other things just in the Discord.
I think the most important thing to take away from that is that we are 100% supported by our Patreon supporters. We're not sponsored. We don't have external incomes. we rely solely on the generosity of Patreon supporters. We try and be as engaging and as friendly as we can. Over there on the Discord, you'll on any given day of the week find one of us
generation?
There. Absolutely. There's almost always someone in voice chat, because the team is scattered around the globe and we all have different schedules and things. So there's often someone hanging out in Discord in a voice chat or video chat channel. There's always people typing away. So
This is downlink handing off
and
flight
it's also a way to share your
telemetry
ideas with us. If you want us to make a video about a certain subject, that's a great place to share your ideas with us to help us do things that interest you.
PRs from Ingenuity.
And
the
other thing is, a lot of people like to eavesdrop in. Like currently we have Marco,
hover,
who's
descent, landing, touchdown, and spin down.
Oh, your microphone dropped off, buddy.
Yeah, sorry, I was just listening to that. We currently have Marco listening along with us here in the Discord.
And altimeter data.
And that, that's a regular thing as well. Fantastic.
Has performed its first flight.
Yeah. Everybody's clapping. That's a good thing. We'll get some
great news.
Get some images here real quick, I'm sure. There's a nice little graphic for us.
I do have a nice video animation that I didn't prepare. Because that's just how I roll. If you give me a couple of seconds, I will find that video for you.
Sure thing. Yeah. There's some images coming.
Fantastic. Look at that. That is the first powered flight. Full screen, no problem. Just bear with me a couple of seconds. Sorry, not prepared to go full screen.
Yeah, we have a picture of our shadow.
Full screen is there for you guys.
The Martian surface.
I'm sure they'll render us out a video pretty quickly.
So the image we're looking at on the screen is the image from our onboard navigation camera showing us hovering above the surface of Mars. How incredible!
And that's its shadow, right, Taryn?
Yes, that's its shadow. So the onboard navigation camera points straight down, so we're seeing its shadow right now.
I can just hear me.
Now, if I understand correctly, the data is relayed through Perseverance, right? So so Ingenuity transmits to Percy, and then Percy relays it back towards Earth, and it can go through some of the other assets that humanity has around Mars in the process, if I understand correctly. Yeah.
Fantastic. So my video animation is no longer needed.
That's fantastic. Play it again. Okay, yeah, they're playing it again. Here it comes.
Saw that, Taryn. So yes, explain what we just saw with the Perseverance image.
So the Perseverance image is showing us grounded at first. It's actually a video, which is great. It's grounded at first, and then shows us hovering our 3 meters above the Martian surface, and then touching back down. It's amazing, brilliant. Everyone is super excited.
So I would say it's a success.
That didn't kick up very much dust.
Not as much as I was expecting.
As fast as those blades are whirring, I was expecting to see a visible dust cloud of some sort. But that could be dependent on how the regolith is in that particular spot. If it's pretty solid packed, maybe it doesn't kick up very well, or if it's heavier particles, maybe they don't pick up as well.
So there it was, guys, the first powered flight on another planet. Was it everything you'd expect it to be?
Who contributed to tonight's success? I see many in the room.
Remember to check out the Total Space Twitter, where we'll be posting that video as soon as it's available.
A few of our friends who are no longer with us, they're flown on ice today.
As soon as it is available.
I know a guy that's probably hovering over the mouse button, refreshing to try and get it posted out on Twitter.
History doesn't, we don't know from history what Orville and Wilbur did after their first successful flight, the Wright brothers, but I imagine the two brothers helped each other. Well, you know,
the double mask attack, Greg. I think the idea is they've got effective masks underneath the branded masks. So they've got a clinical mask, and then I would imagine that they found out that their own internal masks are probably not as safe.
Yeah, they've got a clinical mask and I just had the word, glamour mask.
Yeah.
I mean, we've
all
all
have masks here.
So we know, like the Wright brothers at Kitty Hawk, we know that our time to make a difference at Jezero Crater, Mars.
Yeah, that's quite hilarious.
So let's enjoy this moment. But we must enjoy this moment because over the years, and there are a few of you especially, but there's some that have never let me celebrate fully. Every time we hit one of these major milestones.
Yeah, that's true, Greg. As we've looked at the tire tracks, it does has been clumping up quite a bit as the tracks have gone along.
Take that moment, and then after that, let's get back to work and more flights. Congratulations.
And congratulations to the entire NASA JPL team from everybody here at Total Space.
Absolutely.
If anybody from NASA JPL is watching, we're very happy for you guys.
Yeah, fantastic work. To the whole team at JPL and the rest of NASA, because we all know NASA may have a lot of departments, but people work across departments all the time. So congratulations to everyone, especially those directly involved with Ingenuity and Perseverance. Fantastic work. Can't wait to see more footage and future flights. I'm sure that they're going to get every bit of flight time and pictures and things out of Ingenuity that they possibly can. As long as that thing will power up and send signal, they will be doing it. I'm very confident of that.
And that concludes the NASA stream. So we are back as we were.
I think it's still running. Yeah, they're showing the helicopter again now.
Yep. We're back on lock.
It might have just froze up for a second.
Thank you for joining us today, everybody. See you next time, Greg. Hopefully you have hit that subscribe button and follow us on Twitter at Total SpaceNet for all the latest from the team. I will grab a link for you because once again I'm unprepared. You can find us on Twitter at Total SpaceNet, where we will be updating the latest to come from Mars as the events start to happen. There is a NASA live stream later today. I will post a link to that on our Twitter. We will not be live for it though, unfortunately. That's still about 6 hours away.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm Astro Rody, and I host the STEM Study Segment show. We should have some episodes coming to you as soon as possible, but these things take time, so stay posted.
Have a great day.